The moment is here, the rematch of the final. The Rangers are in town to take on the Kings. Rangers have won 11 of 12, as you know. Local media is here. It's kind of a big deal. I know the Kings players, Odie, are saying, nah, it's just another game, but let's face it, right? It means something.
It does mean something. That's just what they're saying to the media. But you know deep down, the way they played last game against Nashville, they have had 4 days off. New York's in town. It's always exciting. Forget the fact they played them in the finals last year. It's going to be a great game.
We'll see after one. Right now inside, here is Jim Fox to get you ready.
All right, guys, come on inside Staples Center, and it is a matchup that we saw a little while ago back in June, and a matchup that the Kings need to get back on track. Cam Talbot gets the start. It's a back-to-back, of course, last night in Anaheim. 3-3-1 record, but he does have 3 shutouts on this, so I assume when he gets a shutout, he has a chance of winning the game. Not just an assumption I'm going to make. Jonathan Quick, 16 wins on the season, kind of a bounce-back situation. Game was not good all around last game, except for the point, and the coming back was great for the Kings against the Predators. That man right there is Kelly Sutherland. He's one of the referees on, along with Ian Walsh. On the lines, Jay Shars and Kyle Murchison. So Jonathan Quick wants to get back on track. The Kings want to get back on track. The Rangers clicking on all cylinders. Big matchup right now. Play-by-play coming up. Hall of Famer Bob Miller.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. We're ready to go as Kopitar moves in to face off at center ice, and the Rangers win the draw, and it comes right back at the goaltender Talbot. He drives it up to the blue line, and the Rangers clear it to center ice. It's knocked down by Jake Muzzin. Muzzin got it back out. The Kings' big line is out now here on the right side. Pass down into the corner, taken there by Kopitar. This line, Gaborik, Kopitar, and Dwight King. Dwight King has 3 goals in his last 2 games for the Kings. Kings send it around the boards over to Gaborik. Gaborik's pass knocked down. He goes for it again. Rangers have it. A shot saved by Quick. And he hangs on to that as the Kings failed to clear it out. And Derek Stepan with a bid.
How about the entry attempt by the Kings on the first play? You'll see right here with Dwight King now. Just pointing it out because look at Dwight King. Gets the blue line, then tries to make a play. I'm just pointing it out because under different circumstances, different line mates, Dwight King would have probably chipped, chased, get the body in. He's playing with Kopitar. He's playing with Gaborik. More of a puck possession game, trying to make plays. So you don't change your overall game. You make a few tweaks. We saw it right there on the first shift.
Rangers win the draw. Boyle shoots. It's blocked in front. Comes off on the right side. Kreider was right in front of the net. Rangers hold it in again. Stepan on the right side, but his pass taken away, and the Kings have it. And this time they get it out to center ice. Puck taken by Dan Boyle. Threw it over on the left side, and the Rangers get it back to Boyle. He brings it up to center. His pass knocked down there, but a whistle on the play here. And a face-off coming up.
Keys from Hyundai. Well, tempo, play fast. The Rangers have proven they can do that. The Kings have proven that too. Again, the Kings' best games this year against top teams in the league. Need to play fast. Defensive zone sorted out. The Kings have struggled a little bit there. Then the matchup in goal. You have Talbot, not the #1 guy. Quick in a bounce-back situation. Interesting watch all game long.
Kings win the face-off out at center ice. It's driven down into the Ranger zone. Puck along the left wing side. First meeting of the season between these two teams, and what a playoff final it was, with games going into overtime and double overtime, and the Kings winning it in the longest game in Kings history back on June 13th. Rangers down the right wing corner. Kings zone. Puck thrown down in deep. We were impressed with the Rangers' speed last year in the playoff, Jim, and they're just as fast this year. Puck taken on the left side and thrown into the corner now, but taken away as Kevin Hayes, a 22-year-old rookie, had his pass taken away, and now Pearson for the Kings, one of the top rookies in the league. His pass knocked away there and picked up by the Kings back in their own zone. Up ahead to center ice now. Kings flip it up in the air as Doughty throws it down into the corner. Chased down by Clifford. His pass comes around, and the Kings get to it down the corner. It came off of Lewis. And
must have hit something weird there, Bob, along the boards, because it was coming along the boards and bounces right to the middle.
And Muzzin was going back to play defense, and all of a sudden the puck stayed in the zone. Here's Lewis down the corner. Lewis gets checked there, and the Rangers dig it out and clear it up ahead to center ice. Taken on the right side by Lee Stempniak. Throws it into the King zone. Doughty back to get it. Plays it around the boards over toward Kyle Clifford. Clifford checked there. Rangers throw it behind the net. Picked up by JT Miller. Miller on the left side. He threw it down into the corner, and now Muzzin trying to take it away. Tipped it up ahead to Lewis. Lewis checked along the boards. Puck comes deeper into the King zone, but the Kings have control of it now as Doughty starts it back up to the blue line. He gets cut off there. Doughty cut off by Derek Brassard. Kings now get it out to center, and a pass over to Gaborik. Gabrick, 6 goals last 8 games. He shoots and a save and a rebound. Just sent wide to the left side as the Kings tried to get there. King trying to get to the rebound. Puck is picked up now by the Rangers and moved ahead by Dan Boyle up to center ice. Pass on the right side, taken there by St. Louis. Threw it in front and just wide to the left side. He had Nash on the left side of the net. Kings pick it up. Here's Kopitar. 3-on-3 for the Kings. Kopitar across the line, but offside called against the Kings.
Yeah, McDonough standing up right there on Kopitar, not allowing the penetration earlier on the shift. To watch the penetration with Gabrick. Good movement by the Kings. Look at the breakout. A changing positions. You have King going in the middle, Gabrick on the outside. Now there's Stahl getting in the way. Stick first, but body position too. Marian Gabrick scoring so many more goals than we probably thought in traffic, but right there his biggest asset. Back off the other team's speed through the neutral zone.
Gabrick 8 goals in the last 9 games for him. Puck is down along the boards, and it is taken by the Rangers, and they move it back up to center toward Chris Kreider. He's got a lot of speed. Kreider trying to get around Doughty. Doughty checks him, and the puck in deep and rolls around the boards in the Kings zone, and played there by Brown. He got it out to center ice, all the way back in the Rangers zone, and icing called against the Kings.
Well, of course, the Kings have not played since last Saturday, and a lot of time to practice. The Kings took a full day off, had an optional but 2 full practices, and Daryl Sutter said the work and the focus was on X's and O's, the structure of the game. He said rest at some points, and then he said for the young guys, the message was maximize your skill set. You don't get too many 4-day breaks during the regular season. The Kings did take advantage with some practice and some rest.
In the Kings zone, the faceoff won by the Kings, Jared Stoll. And the puck taken by the Kings back behind the net now in their own zone as Doughty has it, and he gives it over now to Jeff Schultz.
In that faceoff, Doughty has to stay out there because of the icing call in those situations, but one of those areas where Doughty gets a little bit more ice time, he's out there with Schultz. Alain Vigneault is the head coach of the New York Rangers, and Bob, you just mentioned fast. Well, that's not only skill. That's system, that's communicating the system, that's having players play without hesitation. I said it last year, I'll say it this year. I think the New York Rangers are the best at getting from point A to point B quicker than anyone. That has a lot to do with speed and skating, but it also has a lot to do with coaching.
Kings, Tyler Toffoli sends it into the Ranger zone, and Cam Talbot, the goaltender, cut it off there, and it's cleared out to center and back to the Kings zone. Muzzin back over to get it now for the Kings. Muzzin with 9 points in his last 12 games, moves it up ahead to center on the right side. Here's Carter. Carter down the right wing. Carter in deep in front. Score! Pearson right in front. And Carter threw it right up the middle. And the Kings have a 1-0 lead.
You want to talk about playing fast? Here it is here by the Kings. And again, they've done it against the best teams in the league this year. North-South hockey. Keep it simple. Keep it going forward. A bounce right here, but you get it. Now watch Carter. Watch the hesitation. Not here. Hold. Go around the stick of the defenseman. The timing of that pass by Jeff Carter was just perfect. Again, you have to have the timing of the defenseman trying to block it. How many times do defensemen get away with that? They go down, they block it, they use their body and their stick. Carter sensed that was going to happen. Takes it wide, holds on. Kings lead 1-0.
Pearson with his 12th. That ties him for the goal-scoring lead for the Kings. Rangers come right back, and a backhander wide off the boards. And it caroms all the way to the blue line. Kings have it again. Back across the line. Lewis to Clifford. Clifford threw it in front, but it's intercepted there. Richards is the other forward on this line. So Carter gets the assist on it. Toffoli also at 4:12 of the first period. Shot from the blue line. Knocked down in front and taken by the Rangers and cleared up ahead to center ice and batted away there from Lee Stempniak. So it's Pearson with his 12th. He is 4th among rookies in goals in the NHL this year. Carter and Toffoli with the assist at 4:12. King's second shot on goal in the game. Puck is in the Ranger zone, but batted away and back out to the King blue line and played there. 1-0 in favor of the Kings here in the first period.
Probably didn't give Pearson enough credit for the finish, too. When he gets the puck, it's kind of a cross-body one-timer, and he elevates it. You've got to elevate it on that cross pass, otherwise the goaltender will get across. Here is Carter. Watch him support the puck as the puck moves from one side to the other. He's going back and forth. You get to an area where, another stop here, guys. Here's the man that's supposed to check Jeff Carter. He does not get the angle. Watch the speed and burst. See that one step? and then you have drive to the other side and Pearson, good finish. But that speed of Jeff Carter is so deceptive, buys him time.
Rangers get it back to Dan Boyle, the blue line. He shoots, it's blocked in front. Kings start back to center ice. Pass on the left side and across the line. Here is Doughty, dropped it back to Gabrick. He shoots and a save by Talbot. Caught it right about chest high. With that goal, 12th for Tanner Pearson. He ties Toffoli and Gabrick for the goal-scoring lead on the King team.
Drew Doughty blocks the shot the last shift before he gets through. Then he follows the play all the way up the ice. Gets it going, moves, gets his feet moving, becomes part of the offense too. So all-around game right there from Drew Doughty. Something we come to expect. Gets back to the bench, has a little conversation with John Stevens. He was fronting on the block, did not get locked up, made the block, and immediately gets his legs moving.
Pearson getting his first goal since December 11th, and that had to feel good to give the Kings the 1-0 lead. And a face-off to the Kings. A shot and a save by Talbot on the shot by Martinez. Puck comes up to center, and Rick Nash sends it deep into the King zone. Rick Nash, second in goals in the NHL with 25. He struggled in the playoffs last year and got a lot of heat for it from people wondering where he is. Shot by Williams. He scores from the right wing. Justin Williams makes it 2-0 Kings. You don't see goals from that spot too much anymore. He ripped it from the right face-off circle.
Well, it's north-south hockey by the Kings. Little east-west right there, but it's zipped across. You're right, the shot. And you see right there, the decision by Justin Williams. He makes it at the right time. If he doesn't decide to shoot here, the defenseman McDonough's going to get a stick on it. And it's going to be over the glass into the mesh. He doesn't. Now he picks the corner. Many times Justin Williams and his shots are accurate, but not necessarily hard. That one was both. He picked the right time to line it up, took his time, blast to the top corner. Quick puck movement, Kings lead, 2-0.
Williams with his 10th, and now the loose puck at center ice. Kings jump on this. Get it left side, shot by Pearson, deflects up the middle, and then sent toward the goal and scooped up there by the goaltender Cam Talbot. It came off the stick of Toffoli.
And again, you got to watch now Cam Talbot, the goaltender, 2 quick goals, some snipes. Certainly the first one on the doorstep, the second one top shelf. Kings lead, 2-0.
This, the Kings with a lead, 2-0 over the Rangers. I'm Patrick O'Neill. Time for the Cold Hard Facts, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Wouldn't be a surprise, right, if these two good teams met in the final once again. It certainly doesn't happen very often. In the expansion era, only happened 4 times. Canadiens Blues 69, Canadiens Bruins 78, Islanders Oilers 84, and the Wings and the Penguins in 09. Thought maybe it would be a little bit more than that, guys, but that's what these stats are for.
Well, a great start for the Kings. Now, can they maintain that? There's a shot just wide to the right side by the Rangers, and a rebound sent off the side of the net. Dominic Moore got the first shot. Puck comes back out to the blue line, and it is held in there and thrown by John Moore down in deep. Schultz had it on his stick, but the Rangers take it away. The Kings tip it away there, and a nice play by Carter. Sweeps it out to center ice. Into the Ranger zone. The Kings want to get a line change here. Pearson comes in and throws a check. Puck comes around the boards, and now puck is taken by Richards for a moment, then rolled away from him, and Derek Stepan picks it up for the Rangers. They get it up on the right side, and a pass over on the left now by Stepniak. Kings break it up again. They come across the line. A shot wide to the left side. As the Kings stepped across the line, they go for it again along the boards to the blue line, but gets away there. And here on the right side, moving in, Stepan, 2-on-1. His pass, shot, saved by Quick. Quick moved over and made the save on the 2-on-1, and the Kings still have a 2-0 lead.
You kind of know Stepan's going to pass. That's the type of player he is. At the same time, the pass was perfect. The shot was there, was quick. And Jonathan spotted it. He knew it. Used his athleticism like we've seen many times before. But every time I see it, I'm amazed by the save.
Now the Kings again to the blue line and across the line. Doughty spins on the left side, throws it in deep behind the net to King. The White King, his pass knocked away, but taken by Kopitar. Into King in the corner. He gets double teamed. King trying to move it. Kopitar trying to get a stick on it, but the Rangers poke it past Kopitar, and they get it out to center ice. 2-0 Kings. Puck taken there, and Martin St. Louis drives it down. Zuccarello drove it down into the zone. Picked up on the right side and thrown behind the net by Dan Girardi. Rangers trying to put some pressure on the Kings now. Puck is taken by Brassard to Nash. Now a shot by Zuccarello blocked in front, and the Kings chase it down, and the White King gets to it at the King blue line. His pass knocked down there by Matt Zuccarello. Zuccarello coming across the blue line. His backhander wide to the left side. And in the King zone, it comes back behind the net. Good check there by Martinez. He threw the check on Hayes, and the Kings come back out to center ice.
There's puck movement by the Kings. You get back, you take the hit, you move it quick. Everyone's supporting, you get out of the zone.
Kevin Klein drives it down into the King zone, and back to get it now is Jeff Schultz. Schultz pass up the boards. Brown got hit a shot, saved by Quick on that shot as it came right up the slot, and Jesper Fast had the shot, but the save made by Quick. Kings have had a little trouble with a couple of giveaways in their own zone here early in the first.
And that's going to be forced because the Rangers seem to get there as quick as anyone. They know where they're going. They're going to the right spot at the right time. And they're turnovers, but a lot of times they're forced. Got to give them credit.
Puck moved up ahead now by Brown to center. Taken across the line by Carter. Carter in the slot. Drops it back. Right side moving in. A backhander save on the shot by Toffoli. Good puck movement there by the Kings coming across the line. And Carter seems to really be on his game tonight.
It seems simple, and that's a 2-on-2, but then you put into the crisscross. When the crisscross happens, you get it complicated for the defenders, and sometimes they make a mistake on the read.
Toffoli took it away, gives it to Pearson. His shot is wide. Rebound to Carter. Carter throws it back in front. Pearson behind the net. Pearson's pass broken up there, and the Kings hold it in. Muzzin has it at the blue line. He gives it left side to Carter. Carter in the slot. His shot blocked into the corner. JT Miller goes for it for the Rangers. Put it back behind the net. Puck is picked up now by Stepniak. Now it comes around the left side. The Kings change on the fly, and they get a couple of new players on the ice. Take it away at center ice, and here is Muzzin. Moved it back in, and the fans appreciating the way the Kings are playing here in the first period. Puck comes left side to Clifford into the Ranger zone. Clifford gets stopped there, but the puck is picked up by Richards. His pass knocked down, taken back to center ice now by Derek Stepan. Now a pass over on the right side, did not connect. Comes down into the corner. Rangers with it again. Down in deep. In front, shot, score by, no goal. No goal. Looked like St. Louis had scored, but are they going to call interference?
Well, Bob, the interference call is against Mike Richards. It happened well before the goal was called. The goaltender's wailed out of the net. It was a delayed penalty. I thought it went in when I saw it. The referee was standing right there. St. Louis looked like he raised his hands. So we're under 10 minutes here. We're going to take a break, but the Rangers will come back with a power play. Interference against Mike Richards on entry into the zone. Kings still lead 2-0. Martin St. Louis hits the post so cleanly. Watch the mesh buckle. Boom. Looks like it's in, but then Matt Green wants one. It goes off the post the second time. Earlier on, of course, the Rangers on attack. Stepan with a puck. He's got someone on the far side. It's Kreider. He makes the pass across. Watch. Quick. He's set, but he comes across. And because of that push, the explosiveness, the strength of the legs, you see him get there. He doesn't even get there with the toe. He gets there right above the ankle of the pad. Great movement across. No one does that better than Jonathan Quick.
Rangers on the power play, and they are potent on the power play. A shot, score! Right off the draw, they draw it back to Boyle, and he fires a power play goal. The Rangers now have a power play goal in 6 of their last 7 games. They are 9 of the last 20.
It starts off the face-off. Obviously, you win the draw, but then one thing that has improved with the Rangers on the power play, everyone's talking about shot selection. And what's happening is you get the puck because Nash doesn't leave the area. Watch this. He looks up, takes the shot, gets a bounce. We saw that in the last game. It goes off a King right here in Jared Stoll, but then watch it hit the ice and bounce. Again, it bounces over the pad, under the arm. So it goes down quickly, but it's Dan Boyle deciding when you win a face-off like that, you get possession, you got to get the shot. Rangers back within 1.
Kings get it back up to center. Kings lead at 2-1 now as the puck thrown into the corner of the Kings zone. So just as I said, that power play is potent. Boyle unlaces a shot that goes into the net, and now a shot from the right point by Girardi was saved by Quick. Puck comes all the way back down into the Ranger zone. Doughty on the right side. He put it down the corner, goes for the front of the net, but it rolled away. Now he got it back again. Doughty gives it to Kopitar. Kopitar's pass in front, broken up, and the Kings got a skate on it, but can't get the stick on it to keep it in the zone. Quick pass up to center. Rangers come back across the line. Pass on the left wing side. Played there by the Rangers' Dominic Moore. His pass deflected into the corner. Bodies fall down to the ice. Kings dig it out. They come back to center. And all the way down into the Ranger zone. I was looking behind the play for a moment. Looked like one of the Kings got tripped. In fact, he looked back at the official and play continued. Puck comes to the King line, broken up there, and now taken by Boyle. Boyle's pass up to center ice. Kings break it up and drive it deep into the Ranger zone. Left wing corner. And icing call against the Kings.
Yeah, that goal by the Rangers, you've got to have everyone working on plays because Jared Stoll actually wins the drop of the puck. So Stoll will win the drop, but watch Rick Nash go recover the loose puck. He gets in behind, and then after this, it's just Boyle doing what the coaches have been telling them. Shoot the puck. There's really not much of a screen, but there's a bounce. You can't predict that bounce. Stoll tries to get enough of it, doesn't. The bounce goes knee high. You can't blame the goaltender. So a lot of things go right there for the Rangers, but it starts with Nash.
Shot is wide to the left. The Kings' second goal was Williams' 10th from Brown and Martinez at 5:49. Kings come back in the Rangers zone. Pass over toward Pearson. Never got there. Rangers break it up. Then the last goal, the Ranger goal, Boyle is fourth. It came on the power play from Nash and Brassard at 10:27. It's 2-1 Kings. Rangers across the line of the Kings zone. Martinez throws a check there, and he stops Zuccarello. Williams, who has a goal tonight for the Kings, peels back in the Kings zone, still has it, feeds it up ahead to center ice. Snapped down in deep by Stoll, back behind the net. Talbot trying to cut it off there. Puck comes around the boards and held in by the Kings again. Down into the corner. Taken there as the Kings move it toward the corner again and trying to get somebody in the slot. Williams moved it in front. A backhander, a save, and a rebound in front again. Williams goes for it. Couldn't get a good shot. And Brown behind the net couldn't hang on to it. Here's Schultz holding it in. He threw it in deep behind the net, and the Rangers take it away. But another close call for the Kings to get another goal.
Talbot did a real good job just kind of holding his ground because there was 3, maybe 4 whacks at it by the Kings. Very strong in the crease.
Here's Brown into the Rangers zone. Hangs onto it, turns, shoots. Blocked in front. It hit Lewis, who'd been knocked down, and the puck taken by the Rangers off the skate of Kreider. And now on the left side, here's Derek Stepan. Stepan shoots, and it's deflected up off the netting, out of play.
And counterattacks are quick. Both teams skating tonight. Both teams moving around quickly. And the Kings have a couple whacks. They've had 2 already. Loose puck develops in behind. Look at the Rangers. You talk about 5-man unit. You could tie all those 5 guys together. The play starts with Hayes making sure Stoll cannot get his stick on it. So a young player getting back, playing some smart defense. Hayes is a big boy, but he's only 22 years old, does exactly what you want to do, control the stick for the opposition player.
Now the puck taken by the Kings, not cleared, held in by Boyle, but his pass tipped back out to center. Derek Brassard with that assist on the goal by Boyle. He has points in 4 straight games now for the Rangers. Long pass tipped down into the corner by St. Louis, taken by the Kings' Doughty. He got stopped by Kreider. Kreider reaches out for it. Doughty has it again. Kreider trying to take it away from him. Pokes it ahead, but now behind the net. Kings are going to get control of it. Clear it off the boards, and not out yet. Boyle in a battle there with Clifford, and now the puck comes out to center. Coming down to 6 minutes left to go in the first period, and the Kings with a 2-1 lead. The Kings had 2 goals in a span of 1 minute and 37 seconds. Pass into the Kings zone and chased down there and picked up by Matt Green. He gives it over to Martinez, the hero of the final game against these 2 teams on June 13th in the Stanley Cup final. Martinez getting the game-winning goal gave the Kings their 2nd Stanley Cup in the last 3 seasons. Now Martinez knocks it down and gives it over to Green. Back to Martinez. From center ice, he drives it into the Ranger zone. Kopitar going forward on the right wing boards. Lets it go back to the right point. Green with it there. Green waits. He gives it to Gabrick. Gabrick into Kopitar. Kopitar looks and throws it right through the slot. But the Rangers take it away, and it is cleared back up to center ice. Knocked down there by Kreider, and he goes into the corner. Excuse me, knocked down there by J.T. Miller. Went into the corner, taken away by Dwight King. He got it out to center ice. Rangers have to touch up, and they want a line change. Kings have outshot the Rangers 9-6 here in the first period. Kings have a 2-1 lead. Pass up to center ice. Here is sent across the line, out of the reach of Pearson. Carter got his stick on it, but the Rangers clear it back to the King line. Picked up there by Doughty. Now sent into the Ranger zone, and Pearson going for it, and we get an icing call against the Kings.
Remind you, get ante up with crosstown rivals in the Kings versus Ducks No Limit Texas Hold'em Poker Tournament, San Manuel Indian Bingo and Casino, Thursday, March 19th. Buy-in is $25. Proceeds going to the Kings Care Foundation. You can register now at LAKings.com/poker. Remember, you must be 21 years of age or older. Kings versus Ducks. No Limit Texas Hold'em.
The third period of the last game, Saturday against Nashville. Kings with 3 goals in a minute 27. And then 2 quickly here tonight. So the Kings 5 goals in the span of 7 minutes and 50 seconds going back to the last game. Rangers, Rick Nash has it. Gets it over on the right side. Here's Zuccarello. Zuccarello checked there, and his pass taken away. Kings get it back up to center. Pearson to the Ranger line. Pearson across the line, but he gets checked there by Dan Boyle. Now the Rangers, Mark Stahl, their number 1 pick in 2005. It's cleared up to center ice. Schultz chased it down. He gets checked there by Matt Zuccarello. And the puck is taken by the Kings and cleared across the blue line to center. And then Doughty's pass right back in the Kings zone. Taken away there and in front alone. A save by Quick. Point blank on Hagelin. Wow, what a giveaway by the Kings there, and it almost led to a Ranger goal.
Yeah, the Kings had possession, were going out, leaving the zone, and all of a sudden, breakaway Rangers.
Hagelin, who was so strong in those playoffs last year, got stopped by Quick. From the blue line, a shot just wide. Brown with a rebound. Dustin Brown back to the right side. Taken there, and a shot by Muzzin, blocked and picked up by the Rangers, and back they come to center ice. High in the air and gloved by Quick, and he hangs on for a face-off with 3:24 to go in the first period. So the Kings with a 2-1 lead on goals by Pearson and Williams.
4 days off, a lot of time to reflect. Justin Williams on the Kings. The goals against average concerns us. We'll address it, but we will be fine. There'll be no panic. We can't lose what we're made of. We're built from the back out defense first, and everyone understands that. And the Kings, it has been slipping, and that's the reason why a little bit of concern around the LA Kings, but the start has always been a concern for the Kings. The start so far tonight against the Rangers, crisp, moving the puck as quick as possible.
And the Kings win the draw here as it's chased down by Green. His pass comes right back to him now, and the Kings get it over to Martinez. Martinez to Gabrick. Gabrick got checked at the blue line there, and the Kings have it. Here's King with a pass off on the right side, but out of the reach of Kopitar. Now comes back on the right wing of the Ranger zone, and they almost give it away. They get it back and throw it right in front of the net. Picked up by the Kings. Gabrick to King. King checked behind the net. Rangers dig it out. They get it up on the right wing side, taken there by Derek Stepan. His pass left side, moving in. A pass back in front. Broken up there for a moment, and the Rangers didn't get the shot they wanted.
Kreider with a speed, really catch the Kings right there, standing up. That's what the Rangers do, north-south, and they back you off.
Now Kreider's pass, taken by Klein. Moved it left point. Shot is deflected up high off of the boards. Kings pick it up and just do get it out to center ice. Chased down there by Chris Kreider. Kreider out of Boxford, Massachusetts, went to Boston College. Puck is at center ice. And a loose puck taken by Toffoli on the right wing. Toffoli shoots, save made by Talbot. Puck came up the middle. Toffoli got it back again. Shoots, it's blocked. Kings have it again. Down the right side is Carter. Carter hanging on to the blue line to Doughty. Doughty back to Carter. Carter's pass up the middle. Shot by Muzzin. And saved by Talbot with traffic just to his right.
Yeah, Talbot moves his entire body across the crease, but that movement by the Kings, it starts with Jeff Carter. Toffoli was working it too. Muzzin gets involved, but it's just non-stop by the Kings. You see the end of it right there with a save, and the Kings trying to get that front net position with Pearson. But that was another good example of the Kings interchanging positions. Look at the numbers right there. Not too bad at all. 30th game for Cam Talbot. He is the backup, no question, because King Henrik is the number 1 guy. But when called upon, he's done the job. But I'm very impressed tonight so far with the Kings in their motion with the puck. No hesitation and move it quick.
Kings win the draw. Here is Brown in the Ranger zone. Pinned along the boards there as the puck comes down toward the corner. Now back to toward the blue line, and the Rangers break it up and bring it back to center. Rick Nash throws it down deep. Here is Doughty going for it. He got checked. Nash comes in. Poked around to Brown. Brown for the Kings. Gets it up to center ice. Kings have it. Here's Muzzin. Muzzin tipped it across the line into the Ranger zone. Down into the corner. Kings go for it. Pass down in deep to Brown. Dustin Brown still has it. Stick handles in the slot. He shoots just like rebound. Bounced up in the air. They tried to bank it off the goaltender. Went up in the air. It was Stoll that tried to do that. Puck comes back to the blue line. Held in again by the Kings. And right in front was Brown trying to get free and couldn't do it. Talk about the goaltender Talbot. He went to the University of Alabama, Huntsville for 3 years. Under a minute to go here in the first period. Kings with a 2-1 lead. Clifford in the corner. Rangers try to dig it out, but the Kings have it. Here's Schultz. Turn, shoots, and a save, and a rebound was right there, but Kings had nobody in position to get to it right away, and the Rangers ice the puck.
As good a shift the Kings have had in this game. Everyone on the puck. Take the body, create loose pucks. Tonight's on Fox Sports Live. Aaron Rodgers says he's a go for Sunday despite his ailing calf. Jay Glazer joins us to explain how he'll fare against the Cowboys. Then we go one-on-one with Urban Meyer days before he coaches a third championship game. Fox Sports Live on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. I started that fast because a lot of times I've got to get it in. I go slow at the end because the New York Rangers have called a timeout here. And it gave me a whole bunch of time to tell you about Fox Sports Live. Daryl Sutter, who will be at the All-Star game, Alain Vigneault, in a situation where the icing is a concern. It's still early in the game, obviously first period, but end of a period, momentum, tired players on the ice. You're already trailing by 1. He feels the next one might, with a back-to-back situation, make it that much more difficult. So coaches want to keep that timeout in their back pocket as long as possible, but it's used many times in this situation after an icing, and you have tired players on the ice.
So you think it's a good call right here, right?
Well, I think it's a good call. I really do. Just the way the game's gone so far. The Kings are on their game. To go up 2 would be a killer.
Rangers come out of the face-off here and flip it high in the air. Down into the zone, chased in by Nash. A backhander and a save made by Quick. Rick Nash, 25 goals on the year, second most in the NHL. Just tried that backhander and see if he could surprise Quick. Couldn't do it. Puck taken by the Kings and back up to center ice now. Deep into the Ranger zone. Cam Talbot cuts it off behind the net. Send it back toward the blue line, and the Rangers come back to center ice. You got a man breaking on the right side. Here across the line, a shot by the Rangers, and it's knocked down. The shot was by Kevin Hayes, the rookie, and the Kings get it back to center and deep into the Ranger zone. Kevin Hayes, 22 years old. He was the number 1 pick of the Chicago Blackhawks, went to Boston College, and that is the end of a very good first period for the Kings. They get 2 quick goals in a minute 37 from Pearson and Williams to take a 2-0 lead, and then Boyle, 5 seconds into the power play, gets the Rangers back in the game.
All right, just go back to one of the keys, Bob. The top key was tempo and play fast. The Kings certainly did that. The New York Rangers are known for that. Jonathan Quick made a huge save there in the first period. The power play goal, the bouncer, the only one to beat him. But as far as playing fast, the Kings on top of their game.
Well, Justin Williams got the Kings' second goal tonight, his 10th of the year. And when we come back, Justin Williams will visit with Jim Fox after this. All rights to this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, telecommunication to the public, or other unauthorized use of this broadcast without the express written permission of the Los Angeles Kings is prohibited. Kings Hockey is brought to you by Subaru. Test drive the all-new 2015 Subaru Outback or go to Subaru.com to learn more. And by Jack in the Box. The Chipotle Chicken Club Combo is back at Jack in the Box for a limited time. We are back live at Staples Center as we get set for the start of the second period with the Kings ahead 2-1. Kopitar will move in to take the face-off against Derek Brassard of the New York Rangers. Brassard with points in 4 straight games now as he assisted on the Ranger goal. And off the draw here, the Kings win this face-off and have it back in their own zone. Here's Doughty. Moves it ahead to the Ranger line. Taken away there and picked up by New York and sent up to center ice. Matt Zuccarello, he got rocked pretty good with a check right in front of the King bench, but he drives it deep in the King zone. And Kopitar takes over there for the Kings. Kings get it to the blue line, and now the right side, played there and across the line. Nice play there by Kopitar to control the puck. He sends it in front and broken up by the Rangers. Picked up there by Zuccarello, and he sends it up to center ice. Across the line, in deep is Nash. He shoots with one hand, and it went wide to the left.
The bounce works for the Rangers. The Kings thought they were going to intercept the play. Ends up to be kind of a half breakaway for Rick Nash. Good defensive position by the Kings to break it up.
Kings in the Ranger zone now. Kopitar in deep behind the net. Kopitar still out with it on his stick. Comes all the way to the blue line. Now throws it down into the corner, but it's taken away there and picked up by the Rangers. Derek Stepan. He gave it away to Martinez. Martinez gets checked and his pass taken away by the Rangers. Chipped up ahead to center ice. Stepan on the right side. Kreider down the middle. Now a pass over the left side and off the stick there of Martin St. Louis. Pass back to St. Louis, broken up by Green. Green gets it up ahead to center to Williams. Williams with a goal in the game tonight. Banks it off the boards back behind the net, and Talbot cuts it off there for the Rangers. Down the corner, the Rangers move it up along the boards and out to center ice. Passed ahead by Derek Stepan and all the way back in the King zone, and Jeff Schultz back to get it. King scratches in the game here tonight. Braden McNabb, Andy Andrioff, and Jordan Nolan. For the Rangers, Tanner Glass and Matt Hunwick are not in the game tonight. Kings go for it at center ice, but Dan Boyle gets there first for the Rangers. Now over on the left wing side, there's Stahl sending it in wide of the net. Puck comes back behind the net and picked up in the corner. Rangers in the King zone trying to make a play there. They send it in deep and behind the net, broken up and sent around the boards, and the Kings still unable to clear it out yet. Puck bounces to the left point, held in there by John Moore. Rangers still have it. Left side, here is Hagelin. Hagelin back to Moore. Moore shoots and is blocked into the corner. Chased down there now by Kevin Hayes. Hayes, pass up the middle, just tipped away, but not out of the zone. Held in now to blue line. Kevin Klein shoots and scores to tie the game. A long shot, and the Rangers have tied it at 2-2.
Kevin Klein is becoming an offensive threat this year. He kind of glides through games. He has a real good understanding. That'll be his 8th goal of the season. That's a career high. And so many times he's just kind of hanging around the play. The more I've watched him, the more he reminds me of just kind of a Larry Murphy, where he just kind of understands where the puck's going to be, and that one is all screen. Great look right there, guys. That's from behind the goaltender. There's so many different things going on. It hits a King again. It hits Jarrett Stoll for the 2nd time tonight. He's out there trying to block it. But more than that time, it was the screen. And because of the movement of the Rangers, the Kings chasing, there was about 6 guys in the screen. So the goalie doesn't see it. Rangers tied up 2-2.
Klein, he's now got points in 4 straight. He had assists in 3 straight games. Now he adds a goal. And the game is tied. And the Rangers in the King zone again. In the slot. Now a shot from there. Score to take the lead. The shot by Stempniak right in the slot. And 2 quick goals. And the Rangers have come from 2-0 down to lead 3-2.
And now that thing that rears its ugly head is the old defensive zone coverage, the thing that the Kings have been talking about, and you just hope it doesn't have a complete breakdown, but the Kings end up chasing here. Stempniak, you see that man jumping down, McDonough, that changes the whole read, then the screen becomes the issue. Look at the bodies in front right there. The finish is a good shot by Stempniak, but they end up getting the time here because of the movement of the Rangers. We'll see high above Staples Center. And Quick's trying to find, you see the shots by him before he even looks. The Kings call a timeout right here to kind of slow things down and figure it out and make sure they can kind of regroup with the Rangers. But it's all the misdirection by the defenseman jumping down. And that creates a different read for the Kings. And it only bought Stempniak maybe a half a step, but the half a step is very, very important. You're going to stop here. Here's McDonough. He's coming down this way. Muzzin will leave his check to recognize that fact and respect that fact, but then Stempniak does not pass the puck, and he buys himself a little time right there. Then the quick release works for the screen, so jumping the defenseman into play changes the read. The read changes for the Rangers. They lead 3-2.
They get 2 goals in 19 seconds to take the lead in the game, and now puck comes all the way down to the King zone, and no icing here, so Quick stops it back. The Kings have called a timeout, so both teams have used their timeouts in this game. Here across the line is Toffoli into the Ranger zone. Toffoli checked by Girardi. Put it back behind the net. Carter goes for it there. Toffoli in to get a stick on it. Pinching down the left side. Martinez to Toffoli to Carter. Carter spins, tries to get away from a check. Sixth goal of the year for Stempniak to give the Rangers the lead. To the blue line. Green shoots. Knocked down in front and picked up by the Rangers and taken by Derek Brassard.
All the traffic we're seeing, too, you credit the other team, but then you also have to look at the other side. You have to look at early positioning, boxing out, those types of things to allow your goaltender to see the puck.
Stempniak with his sixth of the year, assisted by J.T. Miller, and this one is saved by Talbot. J.T. Miller and Dan Girardi at .250.
A little pushing and shoving with Kyle Clifford off to the side. Nash gets involved, Brassard gets involved. The referee trying to break it up. I don't think anything's going to develop here, but then again, the theme for the last two games has been traffic. And that usually does happen when there's been a little bit of a breakdown and you start chasing instead of getting to the position first. If you get there first, you can box out. You can use your position against the puck carrier. So those little things have been breaking down. We've had some bounces too, some weird things, but most for the last two games, it's all about traffic to the front of the net.
Face off in the Ranger zone. Klein scored at 2:31 and then Stempniak at 2:50. 19 seconds apart and the Rangers have a 3-2 lead. They've won 11 of their last 12 games. Puck brought up to center by J.T. Miller. Snaps it down into the corner of the King zone and Jeff Schultz back to get it. Schultz leads it ahead and now out to center ice but out of the reach of Lewis. Lewis chasing it down. Tipped away there by Mark Stahl. Now the Kings come into the zone. Here's Clifford driving down the right side. He gets knocked down off the puck. And the puck is taken by the Kings again. Back behind the net. Lewis. Lewis with it. Over in front to Richards. He got stopped. Still a loose puck, but taken by the Rangers. Rangers get it up to center ice. It was taken there by Stempniak. He moved it ahead. Down the left wing side. In deep is J.T. Miller. Miller down the corner. Put it back behind the King net, taken away by the Kings, and Clifford chips it out to center ice, and then he got knocked down there, but he took the hit to get the puck out to center ice. Tipped across the line by the Rangers, and now the Kings with it. Here's Kopitar. His pass, he gets it back again. Kopitar, right side, hangs on. His shot deflected wide. Over to Muzzin. Muzzin drives it wide. Back out to the right point, held in by Doughty. Doughty sends it behind the net. Girardi got a stick on it to tip it away over on the right side, and Stepan clears it for the Rangers out to center ice. Kopitar back over to give it to Doughty. Now here's Kopitar up to center. He moves it ahead to Gabrick. Gabrick, left wing side. Gabrick hangs on. Tried to feed it into King. It comes back to Kopitar behind the net. Kopitar. Still checked there by Stepan. Kopitar turns. His pass deflected back to center and chased down by Kopitar.
There's tight collapsing right there by the New York Rangers, getting back to the middle of the ice.
Kings pick it up though, and now at the blue line, King had it and then lost it and got it back again, but the Rangers back to take it as Derek Stepan back behind the net.
Of course, the Kings want to use their size, and the Rangers are using bodies. They're using numbers down low defensively. They're not leaving their zone, and the Kings are trying to muck it up. They're trying to get to the front. They're getting there a couple times, but they can't get their sticks on loose pucks.
The Ranger goals here were their first two shots of the second period, and they scored on them to take the lead at 3-2. Here's Martinez for the Kings. Sends it up the right side to Williams. He gets it up ahead to center. Across the line is Brown. Brown driving down the left side. Klein cuts him off there. Brown still goes for it. Klein back to check him again. Brown's pass to the blue line, held in to the left side by Martinez. Drives it wide of the net. Kings over to pick it up. Right side. Flipped down in deep by Stoll. Now Williams goes for it. Williams gets a stick on it, but his pass hit a Ranger skate, and the Rangers have it and clear up to center ice, intercepted there by Alec Martinez. Martinez chased at center ice, and we get a hooking penalty called here. 3-2 Rangers lead, and a hooking penalty coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
Sure, the puck and force something bad to happen for the other team. Hagelin does it. Watch here. Martinez stripped. But watch the inside position. Arm is in there, not the stick. Hooking's the call against Martinez. He didn't like the call. Now, I understand the visual of the referee. There, he sees the stick off the ice. But you saw that replay, which the referee doesn't get a chance to see. It was not stick into the midsection. It was the arm of Alec Martinez. So one was very close. I mentioned it, look at it, because Martinez had a kind of a lengthy conversation with the referee, didn't understand the call, went against the Kings right there. Potent power play for the Rangers. Has a chance again.
Well, last time they had the power play, they scored in 5 seconds. That was Dan Boyle, but this time the Kings bring it up to center ice.
That power play's awful.
Puck comes down into the corner of the Rangers zone, but Rangers regain control of it back behind the net. 3-2 Rangers here in the second period. Bob Miller along with Jim Fox. And the Rangers bring it up to center ice and drop it back there, and then a quick pass over on the right into the Kings zone. Broken up and cleared all the way back into the Rangers zone there. And
just a little thing there, Bob, where the Kings either force a bad pass or an offside. We've seen that before when they're on top of their game on the penalty kill. If I can see more and more of that, that'll tell me the Kings are getting together on the penalty kill. Right there, the Rangers had to make a different play than they wanted to.
Shot from the right side, and Boyle got a shot, but a save by Quick. Puck comes back into the corner. Now here's Brassard. Brassard now back up the middle. Stepan doesn't shoot. Passes over a shot, just deflected wide, and picked up by the Rangers again. Martin St. Louis had the shot. Rangers on the power play, getting it set up. Pass back to the blue line. Held in there by Stepan. Back over to St. Louis. Back to Stepan. Derek Stepan hangs on. Now St. Louis with a one-timer wide to the right side. Rebound back behind the net. Kings go for it. Picked up by the Rangers though. Stepan holds it in. Sends it into Nash. Rick Nash in deep. Sent it back along the boards. Now Stepan at the blue line. He feeds it on the left side. Taken there by Brassard. He shoots. Blocked in front. Loose puck. Scored. Came right back on the right side. And St. Louis was there to put it in, and the Rangers now have a 4-2 lead. They got a fortunate bounce on that rebound.
And you know, Bob, I've been reading about the power play. I've been watching the power play of the Rangers, and poise and control of the words that are being thrown around. And it's exactly right. Number 22 in the middle is Dan Boyle. He's the defenseman, but that starts the play. He tries to shoot this one. He really does. I believe he's trying to shoot this on the putback right here. He's trying to shoot it. He kind of misses. He shanks, and there it is, wide open net. But the control was there for the Rangers. The poise was there for the Rangers. 4 forwards, 1 defenseman, with a defenseman that ends up right in the middle of the box, right in the middle of the slot. But when you keep moving it around, you see how that separation and the spacing was perfect there by the Rangers. They now lead it 4-2.
Well, the Kings jumped out to a 2-0 lead in the first period of this game, and now they have given up 4 unanswered goals and trail 4-2. Puck comes up ahead to center and into the Kings zone. Chased in by the Kings and down into the corner. It is taken by the Rangers, who tipped it away for a moment. Now they almost get it back again. And a penalty coming up against the Rangers. Delayed call. Looked like a hook on the Kings on Schultz as he tried to move it ahead. Kings with it, pass over the right side, but out of the reach there of McBain, and it comes out to center, and the Kings are going to have their chance on the power play now.
Dominic Moore is going to go to the box, I believe, for... It's going to be a hook in the offensive zone, so Alain Vigneault looks on and says, everything's been going great. You allow 2, but then you get 4 straight. Power play has 2. Pressure's been on. Then you get the offensive zone penalty. And you'll see right here, yeah, there it is in behind. That one is sticking to the midsection of Jeff Schultz, who did a good job protecting the puck. Time here for the Kings to get back in it.
Rangers have 3 goals on 5 shots here in this period. Puck comes all the way down into the Kings zone and chased down there by Stepan, but taken away. And the Kings with a power play now and a chance to pull back to within 1. Puck is taken by the Kings. Here is Gabrick. Now the Kings fans getting upset here as the Kings on a power play can't get out of their own zone. Now they do. Up to center ice. Backhanded down in deep. The goaltender Talbot puts it up on the glass. And it is cleared back to center. Doughty for the Kings. Minute 24 to go in the King power play. Here's Doughty. Across the line. Doughty throws it down into the corner. It carries behind the net. The goaltender out to block Doughty out of the way. And it's picked up by the Rangers. Give it away to Kopitar. Kopitar in the middle. His shot is blocked. Back to Martinez at the left point. Martinez walks the line. Still has it. Turns. Feeds it to Doughty. Doughty to Martinez. Martinez. Backhand pass to Kopitar. His pass up the middle. Broken up. Kopitar again along the boards. And the Rangers take it away as Hagelin picked it up. He's got some speed. Hagelin shoots, and it's wide to the right. He was looking for a shorthander. Puck sent back behind the net. 45 seconds to go in the King power play. Kings take their time. They get new players out on the ice. And now start back up to center with the man advantage. From center ice is flipped down the right side by Martinez. Over to Stoll. Jarrett Stoll goes for it. Rangers take it away, and it is cleared back into the Kings zone.
The Rangers just kind of stacking up, lining up 4 guys across the blue line, and when the Kings dump it in, 2 guys from the Rangers go to the butt, outnumbering the Kings, and they're shorthanded.
Pass by Muzzin, taken away by the Rangers, and they get it back to Girardi at the right point. Now behind the net, picked up by Muzzin again. Kings don't clear the zone yet, and the Rangers hold it in. Alone in front, a shot, and Nash was right in front. And the Rangers are back at full strength, and now they've got it again. The Kings have given it away here and did nothing with that power play, and the puck back up to center ice.
The Kings are struggling with the speed of the Rangers. They don't have time to make plays, and then they kind of panic and just throw it somewhere. That somewhere right now is going right to the Rangers.
Williams back to Schultz at the left point. He drives it into Lewis behind the net. Lewis back over to Schultz, Ranger zone. His pass back up toward the blue line, gets it back again. Schultz down in deep. And the Rangers take it away, and they're going to clear it to the blue line and out to center ice. Cleared there by Martin St. Louis. Kings take it away. Back they come into the Ranger zone, and Rangers get control of it. Sent along the boards. Green trying to hold it in for the Kings. And it's tipped out to center ice. Here down the left side, Kreider shoots, and a save by Quick. Kreider with a lot of speed, and he put it right on goal. Good save by Quick. Back come the Kings. Lewis drives it in the Ranger zone, wide of the net. Broken up there by Klein. Over to Zuccarello. Matt Zuccarello with it now. He's out of Norway. Brings it up ahead to the blue line. He almost lost it there, but he got control of it again. Gave it to Brassard. Kings break it up. Kings down 4-2 with 7:45 to go, second period. Puck is picked up by the Kings back at their own blue line. Doughty has it now in the Kings zone. Kings take on the Winnipeg Jets. They're tied for the wild card spot with Winnipeg in points with 47. Kings have the first wild card spot. Winnipeg has the second. Now the Rangers back in their own zone. Get it up ahead to center to Brassard. Off on the right side to Zuccarello. He shoots. Blocked. Kings have it. King got checked there. Rangers change on the fly, and they hold it in as it's thrown in by Dominic Moore. Kings back to get it. Pass up the middle. Rangers come back to take it away, but they don't hold it in the zone. Kings have it. Backhanded by Dwight King deep into the Ranger zone. Going for there, Girardi. He got checked, and JT Miller picks it up for the Rangers.
Kings unable to spend time in the offensive zone. You see the Rangers getting back, making one play, and getting out.
Rangers get to the puck in the King zone again. Drop it off in the corner. And now it's intercepted by the Kings and led up to center ice. Right wing side, here's Williams. Williams across the line. Taken away there and cleared back out to center. Williams got checked by Moore. And the Kings back to get it. Williams in his own zone. Hanks it off the boards into the Ranger zone, and Dan Girardi back to get it. Puck comes up to center and into the King zone. Kings bring it to center. Carter had it taken away right off his stick. Picked up by Hagelin. Hagelin gets it back. He shoots. Knocked down to Hagelin again in the corner. His pass broken up. Carter goes for it. Carter gets it to Brown. Brown up ahead to center. Here's Clifford. He got stopped as he got to the blue line. Broken stick out on the ice.
And that's Tyler Toffoli. Took a whack. Maybe got away with a slash right there. His stick snaps, but no penalty called.
Puck is picked up now on the right wing side. Rangers down in deep. Back behind the net. Pass out in front by Kevin Hayes. And the Kings get it back up to center ice on the right wing. Here's Carter. Carter moving in. His pass over to Toffoli. Toffoli gives it back into Carter. Carter left side. Carter shoots, and a save by Cam Talbot.
You know, that's the first shot for the Kings in a while, or at least the first chance for the Kings in a while. The Rangers trying to take over right here. We come back after the break. Patrick O'Neill on the bench with Jeff Schultz.
Here with Jeff Schultz. Jeff, long way to go, but you still have to find a way to stop the assault of the Rangers. Is it their speed, and what's most important rest of this game?
Yeah, containing them in our zone, keeping them to the outside, limiting shots.
All right, what else do you think is most important? How do you get some offense going?
I think just get in on the forecheck, be hard on their D, and we'll retrieve pucks.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, boys, back to you.
The difficult part here for the Kings is when they get to the neutral zone, get to the red line, blue line, the placement of the puck is being forced by the Rangers, so the Kings can't get that forecheck going right now. They've had a couple of chances, but very difficult times on the forecheck. One shot and done.
Jim mentioned few shots for the Kings. Now a pass in front, and and it is scooped up by Talbot. First it was Toffoli, and then it came right down to Carter. The Kings, moments ago, had their first shot in 9 minutes and 57 seconds of this second period.
Watch Jeff Carter here. He tries to pass initially, not Carter, but he'll come up with a puck right there, and it's rolling. And the timing just wasn't there, but that's just a perfect opportunity. It's the best opportunity the Kings have had in a while. Can't get it on net.
Carter won the draw, then got a shot, and a wraparound by Pearson goes wide. Now it comes to Carter again. Taken away by the Rangers. Back they come to center ice. 3-on-2 as they come across the line. Pass left side, but offside. Rangers at the King blue line.
Well, Dan Boyle was trying to lead the attack right there, and his season has really turned around. Dan Boyle, he had a broken hand early. He had some illnesses. He's got a goal and assist tonight, and he talked about his season coming along. He says because he's simplified. He says he's no longer thinking about scoring offensive points, and in other points in his career, that's what he was known for. But with the Rangers, he's thinking about defense first, and guess what's coming? The offense is coming because he's simplified his game. He fits in perfect. Mark Stahl's his partner, Bob. I don't know of a better pairing for Dan Boyle than Mark Stahl. Stahl just takes care of everything. Dan Boyle, he can make the plays.
Rangers in their own zone, move it up ahead to center. Now on the left side into the Kings zone. Stahl shoots and a save, and gathered in by the Kings goaltender, Jonathan Quick.
You can still sign up to attend the second installment of this year's Business of Hockey Speaker Seminar Series, Saturday, January 10th. That's coming up. Get an insider's view on the business side of hockey from the industry's top executives. Sign up today. LAKings.com/BOH. That's Business of Hockey.
Face-off will be in the King zone here. And the loose puck going to be gathered in by the Kings and sent behind the net to Martinez. Martinez up to Green. Green on the right side, and now sent across the line. Down into the corner is King. Dwight King going for it there. King battling, and so is Gabrick, but the puck comes free and taken by Kevin Klein. Got it up in the air and out to center and back into the King zone. Swept away by Green, but not out. Held in by J.T. Miller. His pass back to the blue line to Klein. Drives it into the right side. Played there along the boards and sent back behind the net as the Kings try to get to it. The Rangers hold it right on the line as they keep it onside. Pass down in deep there by Klein. Back to the blue line. Pass over the right side and a fanning on a shot there. The pass was over on the right by John Moore, and the Rangers fanned on it. But the Kings don't clear it out. Held in. Shot now by Moore, and it's deflected off of the arm or chest of Quick. Here J.T. Miller behind the net. Miller hanging on. Back to the blue line. Now backhander knocked down in front. Loose puck. Banked off a Quick and wide of the net. Held in again. Passed up the middle. Hagelin shot is high and wide. Rangers all over the Kings here with great speed and passing. They do it again right into the slot. And a tripping penalty to Kopitar coming up here.
Now the Kings are chasing, and Bob, I mentioned it earlier, big concern for everyone. They've been talking about defensive zone coverage. Rangers are making it tough, but the Kings chasing, trail by 2. 5 men on attack by the Rangers defensemen, moving forwards, interchanging positions. You talk about a team that's on their game, the Rangers are, and the Kings are chasing in the defensive zone. Scrambly at times, but right down the middle was Dan Boyle. St. Louis has the last goal on kind of a shank pass from Boyle. But the New York Rangers, they've got 2 already on the power play. There's Boyle. He was the guy that drew that penalty. He ended up in the middle of the slot again as a defenseman. It doesn't matter when you interchange positions like that as long as you have the safety valve. The Rangers have the safety valves, and everyone else that much more aggressive. Boyle draws the penalty against Kopitar.
Rangers on the power play, including tonight, 10 of their last 21 chances. Shot by Boyle, saved by Quick. Tipped it into the corner. Puck comes back to the Rangers again. They're 2 out of 2 on the power play tonight. They've got a 4-2 lead. Puck is along the boards and taken away, and the Kings get it to Stoll. And Jarrett Stoll gets it up ahead to center to Lewis.
You have a forward back on the blue line there. There's St. Louis. If you have a chance, you try him, and that's what Lewis tried to do right there.
Lewis driving, then he passes, and the Kings move it back to center as Jarrett Stoll gets it back into the King zone, and now it's cleared on target, and Talbot tips it into the corner. Minute 24 to go on the Ranger power play. Big penalty kill here for the Kings. The Rangers, with that 2-goal lead, bring it to center ice now and drop back by Boyle. Now it comes across the line to Nash. Nash at the left point. He gives it there to Stepan. Tipped down the right side. Rangers in the Kings zone. Set it up. Down Ian deep. Right side. Nash feeds it back over to St. Louis. Now to Brassard. St. Louis to the blue line. Quick pass over to Stepan. Across the ice, but broken up by Martinez. And Kings bring it to center. And the Kings get back on side. It was Carter who got back on side to keep it alive. But now Richards with it. He shoots, and a save by Talbot. And as he threw it away, the whistle had blown.
Of course, in the past, Richards and Carter so effective in these situations shorthanded. Daryl Sutter has said all year long, Bob, this is not the same team as last year, especially back on the blue line. You don't have Mitchell. He signed as a free agent. Voynov suspended. At one time or another, injuries. Regeer right now. So look at this. Increases in time on ice compared to last year. Martinez has increased the second most. Muzzin the fifth most, Doughty the 12th most. That's in the entire league, so a complete different shift back on the blue line. And Daryl's been talking about that, and maybe we're seeing the byproduct of that lately for the Kings. The defensive structure has been breaking down.
34 seconds ago on the power play for the Rangers. Here's Kreider chasing it down the side. He got checked there by Doughty. Puck comes back to the blue line, though. Held in but we get an interference penalty here against the Rangers.
Yeah, Zuccarello's going to go off. Zuccarello is going to go off, and Kelly Sutherland has a few comments for him as he goes to the box, and the Rangers trying to set a pick there on the power play and get it going. You get a feel right here. It's a chance. It's a turning point type of thing. Not necessarily the score, but at least momentum. We'll stop right here, guys. Here's Zuccarello. He's right in position, and he's just getting in the way. The puck is over here, so it's nowhere near the puck. And because he's just moving into the lane of the Kings, one contact once, and then kind of just keeps going. Yeah, keeps going across. He's going back. You might allow it. He went across into the lane. He goes off interference.
Kings in 26 seconds at the power play, and this one's knocked away by Talbot. Puck is in the Ranger zone. Carter trying to pick it up. In 15 seconds, Kings will have the man advantage. Rangers with the lead. Doughty holds it in the Ranger zone. Doughty all the way back to the blue line. Feeds it down the left side. Now a pass in front. Shot knocked down, and the Rangers are going to get to the loose puck and clear it up to center ice. Head by Klein. Now the Kings on the power play. They got a minute 30 on it right now. Kings 0 for 1 tonight with no shots with a man advantage. Puck comes down the right side to Kopitar. Kopitar got out of the penalty box. He gives it back to Doughty at the right point. Here's Doughty to Kopitar. Kopitar with it. Kopitar, his shot blocked right back to him. He got it to the blue line. Kings hold it in again. They get it down in deep into the corner. Kopitar over to help out. Rangers take it away, and they clear it into the King zone. Under a minute to go here in the second period. Long pass up the middle by Quick to Kopitar to Williams. Williams to Kopitar, Ranger zone. Kopitar checked in the corner. Williams in to help out. Williams trying to dig it out. Doughty comes in. Puck comes up the middle. Taken there by Muzzin. He shoots, and slide rebound. Williams shoots. Blocked in front. Picked up now by Carl Hagelin for the Rangers, and he clears all the way back in the King zone. Doughty trying to get back in a hurry, and he did get there to move it around the boards. 30 seconds ago in the King power play. 21 seconds ago in the second period. Kings with it. Cross the line, right side, Brown. Brown sends it back behind the net. Taken there, and Jared Stahl gets it out to the left point. Held in, back to Stahl. Left wing side. Jared Stahl put it back into the corner. Picked up there by Brown, but his pass taken away by Nash and cleared.
Another example there, Bob, as the period ends for the New York Rangers. Impressive without the puck. Their speed is working defensively there. The Kings had open men on that last play there on the power play, but the passer never had time to pass the puck. The open man is not a factor, and the Rangers will go to period number 3 with a 2-goal lead.
Rangers got 3 goals in the second period. Klein is 8th, Stempniak is 6th, and Martin St. Louis is 13th. 4-2 lead for the New York Rangers at the end of 2 periods. When we come back, we're going to have a preview of a special edition of Kings Weekly, which will come up right after our game tonight. Kings Hockey is brought to you by Mercury Insurance. Get a free quote today from Mercury Insurance and get a free collectible mini stick set featuring Anjay Kopitar. And by Staples. Make more happen.
Very quickly downstairs to Davis Payne. Davis, obviously a lot of changes there in the second period as far as what went on. What are the changes you don't want to see continue here into the third?
Well, we want to spend less time in our own zone. Obviously, we can be much quicker there. We can be much quicker on our gaps. So that eliminates time and possession for them and gives us the puck back. It's what we're good at. It's what we're going to do for 20 here.
All right, thanks, Davis, very much. A good observation, that the time and space issue, the gap control, as Davis was talking about. If a team like the Rangers gets gaps to work with, that's going to be dangerous because a fast team gets faster.
Well, the Kings bring it up to center ice. Third period underway, and down the right side, a shot or pass over on the left side to Pearson. Did not connect, and it comes back out to center, and the Rangers have it back now in their own zone. Pass down and deep, and Girardi back to get it. His pass up to center ice. Kings break it up, and they have to touch up to get onside. Toffoli does. In fact, the Kings are going to make a line change here. Third period underway. The Kings had a 2-0 lead right off the bat, and then have given up 4 unanswered goals. Rangers get it again across the line. Stepan, and offside called against the Rangers.
Coming up a little bit later on the Carl Jr. Sports Update, we'll take a look back to last game and what happened, which was very special. Now, Kings are only trailing by 2 here, Bob. That's no big deal compared to what happened last game.
Well, the last game last Saturday, 7 goals allowed by the Kings against Nashville, 4 tonight. The 11 goals are the most allowed in a 2-game span since Daryl Sutter took over as head coach. Dan Snyder looking that up for us tonight. Good job. Puck taken by the Kings. Jeff Schultz gets it up ahead to the blue line, but it's tipped away, and the Rangers keep it in, but offside called here. Just want to say that all of us are saddened by the passing of Staples Center engineer Lance Higgins. He was instrumental in refrigeration system at Staples Center to make the ice, and he passed away recently. The Kings organization sends out our condolences to his family. Face off outside the blue line of the Kings, and the Kings have it and bring it up to center ice, down by 2 goals. Here's Martinez, Ranger zone, shoots, and it's wide and off the boards out to the right point. Held in there, but the Rangers take it away as Kevin Klein gets it now.
We get Martinez out there along with Doughty. I know it's only 1 shift. I know it's third period. The Kings need some offense, so 2 guys known for offense paired together.
Puck thrown in behind the net by the Kings, and Cam Talbot, the youngster, cuts it off there in goal for the Rangers. Kings get it into Jared Stoll. He gets knocked down. Now into the corner of the Ranger zone. Kings try to dig it out. They do for a moment. Rangers get it back, though, and shovel it up ahead to center ice. Taken there by Stempniak. He got hit at the blue line as he tried to come across the line. And
there's no gap right there with Drew Doughty. He's not backing off, so he makes the contact.
Kings get it up ahead now to Clifford at center. Clifford throws it in. Rangers back in their own zone to pick it up. Clifford throws a check. Here's Richards with it for the Kings. Richards into the corner, back to the blue line to Green. Green sends it back to Richards behind the net. Richards, his pass taken away, and the Rangers get it out to center ice and back into the King zone.
Now King on the ice along with Clifford and Richards. I'm sure some of these changes started in the second period, but a little different look here in the third.
Clifford chases it in, broken up by Girardi. Rangers in their own zone. Kings will be home here on Saturday night, taking on the Winnipeg Jets, and the Kings are in a battle with the Jets for the wild card spot in the playoff situation. Puck comes down across the line. Kings with it. Down in deep is Carter. His shot blocked behind the net. Carter with it again. Carter checked there by Zuccarello. Zuccarello in the corner. He digs it out. He's got it. Rangers get it back up to center ice. Now a long shot saved by Quick, and a rebound off of him. The long shot by Nash. Nash in front. Shoots, and it's saved. And no other rebound for Nash. Boy, that's dangerous. Rick Nash right there in front looking for the goal.
And the play started on kind of a loose rebound to begin with. You see the long shot, here's the problem right there. Now it jumps out. If you're a defenseman, you don't know where it's going to go. Nash gets it, can't elevate it. You see Quick come across again with his arm over top of his pad, but Nash never did get it close to the top of the net, so the Kings dodge a bullet right there. And it's one of those plays where the initial shot doesn't look dangerous, but the second chance sure does.
Boy, he hasn't missed any with that opportunity this year. Puck comes back to the right point. Dan Boyle, he sends it into Kreider. Kreider for the Rangers now. Gets it down in deep. Martin St. Louis. St. Louis pass to Stepan. He's checked by Kopitar. The Kings get it to Williams. Williams had it tipped away. And then a step on and a pass and a shot wide to the right side. Kings bring it back out to center ice.
Now Doughty's out there with Schultz.
Puck is back behind the net. Kings go for it there. It's picked up by Gabrick. Here is Marian Gabrick. Gabrick's pass intercepted by the Rangers. Stepan. He gets it back out to center, and the Rangers want to get a line change, so they drive it deep into the Kings zone. Schultz back to get it. He gives it over to Doughty. Here's Doughty to center. Doughty across the line, and it's tipped away from him, and the Rangers come back to center ice. Picked up there and across the line, Hagelin. Carl Hagelin shoots, and a save by Quick. He caught it chest high, and he hangs on.
One of the Rangers, Bob, clipped on the way to the net there. And we'll have to wait to see. Fast is down. Whether there's any type of a penalty. The referee did not signal for one. Signal for one. But you see a little delay here trying to sort things out. We certainly thought something happened as far as contact. Again, an innocent-looking play with Hagelin gets it to the net. Oh, yeah, it was from behind. It was Jared Stoll right there. You got his stick up on it, and Hagelin wants one. Fast wants one. And then it looks like Jared Stoll is on his way to the penalty box. And Dustin Brown is talking with the referee right now to figure out what went on. Again, the closest man to the play did not make the call, but right there, no question. Stick across the face. And the closest ref doesn't always have the best look at it when you get help. The referee's got help in that one. They get the call, and the Rangers back on that power play.
And their power play has been impressive tonight. They're 2 out of 5. They've got it again. Nash shoots, and it's wide. Rebound to Derek Stepan. Stepan on the left side. Nash cuts in front of the net. Pass comes over the right side to St. Louis. And the net is dislodged. And play is stopped. Nash ran into the net.
Yeah, about 2 units working on the power play for the Rangers. Working very well of late, and that's a big thing. Toyota game analysis. Kings did have a 2-1 lead after the first period. They had led 2-0 in the game. Power plays, the Rangers with 2 right now. Looking for another one. Kings goals against. That's a big concern right now because, again, it is the foundation of their game. And I just get that feel, Bob, with the New York Rangers, and rightly so. With so many things working on the power play for the New York Rangers, every time the other team takes a penalty, you've got 18 guys jumping over the boards trying to get on the ice. I mean, they want to get on the ice. They just feel it. The confidence is there. And that confidence comes from results.
They're 2 out of 3 tonight on the power play with 5 shots. But the Kings win the draw here, and it is cleared all the way back down into the Rangers zone. The faceoff had been won by Kopitar. We're in the third period with the Kings down 4-2. Now here's across the line, St. Louis down in deep behind the net, taken away by Doughty, and he drives it all the way back into the Rangers zone. Kings need 1 home win for 900 home wins in their history. Puck is taken at center ice by Stepan. Now across the line, Brassard. Brassard throws it in deep, comes around the right side, and the Rangers try to keep it in play. Comes back to the right point to Boyle. Boyle sends it over left side. Rangers still get it back to Stepan now. Now to Boyle. Boyle over to Stepan, left side. His pass right side, played off the boards by St. Louis. Back to Boyle. Boyle. St. Louis shoots right off the pass. It's wide. Rebound to Stepan. Stepan's pass tipped up in the air and out to center ice.
Doughty finally gets some pressure at the right time. He gets a stick in position and breaks it up for the New York Rangers. Everything was on the outside right there. The one miss was that shank by St. Louis. The Kings trying to keep it on the outside.
Rangers with no shots yet on this power play. They drive into the Kings zone. Green breaks it up, and he sends it back out to center ice. 23 seconds left to go in the King penalty. 4-2 Rangers lead. We're in the third period. Pass up ahead to center ice. Comes all the way down into the Kings zone. Rangers get there first. Comes over to Zuccarello. Zuccarello gets stopped, and it's cleared again by the Kings. Back down into the Rangers zone. Rangers get it up to center to Matt Zuccarello. He feeds it on the left side. And off. That play continues. The puck comes back up to center, and Kings cleared it out to center, taken down by the Rangers.
Something to build on positively. The Kings now back at even strength, and the New York Rangers didn't have anything. So they've dominated on the power play so far in this game. Maybe the Kings can build off that, looking for a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, they need the next goal. Shot by Williams is gloved by Cam Talbot, and he hangs on to it. 13:36 to go in the third. Kings down by 2.
Children's Hospital of Los Angeles save of the game. Step on, time, across the Kreider, speed, shot. It's shot quickly but not placed. Because when you go across against Jonathan Quick, you've got to place it perfectly. Kreider gets a lot on it, but it's low and the pad comes across. That was well back in this game, back in the first period. Now the Kings trailing the Rangers 4-2, 13:36 remaining. Looking for something. They're coming off a penalty kill, and a very strong penalty kill for the Kings. Try to build off that. We've seen it many times in many games where a penalty kill ends up building some momentum. The Kings did it right there against the Rangers.
Rangers beat the Ducks last night in Anaheim. And the puck comes down into the Kings zone, and Doughty back in to get it. The last time they beat the Kings and Ducks back-to-back on the road, December 16 and 17 back in 2008. Puck back to the blue line of the Rangers, and they send it up out of play, and that stops the clock with 13:13 to go in the third.
Daryl Sutter trying to figure something out here to get it going. Again, it's a stick-with-it attitude, but again, the second period, as Davis Payne was talking about, where the breakouts weren't there. You go back to the first period, that's the biggest difference in the game, and Davis was right on, because in the first, the Kings had numerous times where they made 2, maybe 3 short passes, then they're out of the zone. Second period really turned around. They could not get out of the zone. They ended up chasing.
We've mentioned the Rangers have won 11 of their last 12. It's the first time they've won that many since 1993 in 12 games. Here is a puck driven down into the Kings zone, and Karam's right toward the net, and broken up there by Jonathan Quick, but it's still in the Kings zone now. Back to the blue line. Girardi shoots, and a save by Quick, and he hangs on.
A reminder that single game tickets are still available to see your LA Kings in action almost every game day. Additional tickets will be released for sale. That's on the game day, and on a select dates, single tickets will be available for up to 50% off. Visit LAKings.com/tickets for more information. Try to get it done right there. You never know when you get a chance to get it discounted. Again, it has to be a single. You can't have anyone with you. You can have a couple people with you, but you would have to have numerous single tickets. You won't sit with your buddy, but you'll have a chance to watch the Kings play.
Here is Doughty back in the Kings zone. The same two teams are going to meet again in Madison Square Garden on March 24th. Puck driven down into the Rangers zone, chased in by Andrei Kopitar. The Rangers dig it out. They get it to Brassard. Brassard moves it up ahead to Rick Nash. Nash clears it out to center. Taken away by the Kings now. They get it to Kopitar. Kopitar across the line. Down in deep. Rangers chase it down. Puck comes to Brown, and is shot up high. He intercepted. Then he gets tripped, and a penalty coming up against the Rangers. Delayed call. The Rangers got a stick on it, and now the Kings on the power play with a chance to pull to within 1. Interference is the call.
Dustin Brown kind of comes out of nowhere. He's on the board, steps to the middle, picks it off, drives to the net, gets his own shot, tries to follow up on the play, and then going across right there, he ends up drawing the penalty. So keep going, keep it moving. You see McDonough just get a piece there. I'm sure McDonough would say that Dustin Brown helped that one along, but Dustin was very energetic right there. Off the boards, to the middle. One of the few turnovers the Rangers have had. Dustin Brown causes that and then draws the penalty.
So now the Kings on the power play, they're 0 for 2. They've had no shots on the power play tonight. Great chance here to pull to within 1. Kings with it. In the zone, move it off on the right side, Ranger zone. Kings get it down in deep over to Doughty, and a save in the glove of Talbot. Doughty had it lined up. And Cam Talbot, the backup goalie for the Rangers, makes the glove save.
Has not been called upon a lot, but this time watch the control. Talbot will be aggressive, takes the step forward, but he is under control. He is always square throughout this whole sequence right here. Nice play by Pearson. Doughty gets the shot he wants. Probably wants to get a little bit higher right there. But a good example of goaltender moving under control.
Now, Talbot was not drafted. He was signed as a free agent by the Rangers back in 2010. Here now is Muzza. Gets it up ahead to center ice. Kings across the line. Carter moves it on the right side. Now the Rangers take it away, and it's cleared by Derek Stepan. Minute 28 to go in this power play for the Kings. They bring it up ahead to center ice. On the right side. Picked up there by Toffoli. Back to the point. A shot knocked down by the goaltender right in front of the shot came from the right point, and the Kings can't get to it, but it is held in right on the line by Doughty. Good play there to knock it down. Kings want to get a change. Rangers clear it up ahead to center and all the way back in the Kings zone. Less than a minute to go now in the power play for the Kings. Here's Brown. Brown tried to give it over to Williams. Williams chased in, gives it to Brown. Brown in the Ranger zone, double team there. Williams got checked along the boards. Kings hold it in. Up the middle, here's Martinez. He gives it to Williams. Williams spins away from a check, still has it. His shot blocked, rebound into Brown. Brown behind the net. Kings in the Ranger zone, still with it. Back to the right point. Held in there, now Brown. He gives it back to Martinez. Martinez shoots, save, rebound in front, and the Kings can't jam it in. Brown was there trying to get a stick on it. Or Lewis, I'm sorry. Lewis trying to get a stick on it. And save made by Talbot.
Well, Martinez does the right thing. The Kings moved it around well, but they weren't getting any shots. And as we've seen so many times, now the Kings have 3 shots. Martinez gets it through. There's a second whack in there. Talbot gets his leg in the way of it. Doesn't necessarily cover the puck up, but his leg will prevent Trevor Lewis from getting to the puck. Then finally, he just kind of backs off, and anytime a goaltender lays back like that, they're not necessarily in control, but he covers up. No second chance.
Kings get the puck. Martinez feeds it on the left side, and it is taken away by the Rangers and cleared out to center ice. 13 seconds ago in the King power play. Here's Martinez. Back in the King zone. Time running out with a man advantage. Only 6 seconds left. Rangers take it away, clear it again, and the Kings are 0 for 3 on the power play tonight. They had 3 shots. First 3 shots they've had with a man advantage tonight. Here is Gaborik. Coming down to 10 minutes left to go here in the third period. Kings are down 4-2. Rangers trying to win 12 the last 13. Now a shot knocked down there and cleared back out to center ice and into the King zone, icing against the Rangers.
Chance to get the line matchup you want, the icing. The other team can't make the change. You're looking for anything to get you going. Doughty comes over the boards. He'll be with Schultz. Drew Doughty's played just with about everyone here in this game tonight. Both guys switch sides in the offensive zone, so they both have one-timers. Carter on the faceoff. He's going against Hayes. The Rangers, not known as a good faceoff team, worse than the league.
Toffoli gives it back now to Doughty. His shot knocked away by the goaltender into the side. Talbot getting a leg on it. Puck is taken by New York and cleared high in the air down into the King zone. Icing again against the New York Rangers. Their coach, Alain Vigneault, 489 NHL wins. He is second among head coaches in wins since the start of 2006 and 7.
And Bob, I think he's underrated. I think he does an excellent job. I think the way the Rangers play, the way they approach the game, and again, the way they get from point A to point B as fast as that has not, it has to do with their quickness, but it has more to do with no hesitation, understanding their role and where to get.
Kings won the draw, but then a pass taken away, and the Rangers back into the King zone. Down the right side, a backhander there is knocked down. Hagelin hitting the backhander, and the Kings bring it back up to the blue line and up to center ice. Here's Doughty. Pass comes down in deep. Chased in there by Jeff Carter, but the Rangers have it, and they move it to the blue line. Taken away nicely by Williams. Williams, his pass up into the crowd, deflected out of play. So it's still 4-2 Rangers. We'll be back right after this.
Joined now by the original Finnish Flash, number 17, Hall of Famer, winner of 5 Cups, Jari Kurri. Jari, it's great to see you. As far from the Kings' perspective in this game, what's your take here?
It surprised me, they got 2-0 lead, Rangers scored 4 goals in a row, but it's not over yet.
Now, I know you're here. Your compatriot, Teemu Selanne's getting his number retired on Sunday. It must be a special honor for you.
Oh, definitely. It's an honor to be around. We have about 16 guys from Finland here. We're here for a little basketball, a few hockey games, and enjoy it. And big day to Sunday. We're going to enjoy it.
Well, we love having you here, and best of luck and continued success to you, Jari.
Thank you very much.
The great Jari Kurri, guys. There he is. Back to you. He says hi.
You talk about understanding the game of hockey. I mean, he could finish, obviously. That has nothing to do with his nationality, but the defensive responsibility, all the things he did for the Edmonton Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings.
I just remember those Gretzky passes to Jari Kurri on that power play and the one-timer, and Nobody better than that, really. Puck comes all the way back down into the Ranger zone. Suit him up. Get him out here in the third period. Puck cleared up ahead to center. Rangers with it. Stepan across the line. They stay onside. Shot is deflected up in the air, and the Kings turn it back up the left side, and Dwight King. King's pass played off the boards by Brown. Brown down in deep. His pass deflected out the left side. Kings hold it in. Schultz down in deep to Brown. He drives it, and it deflected out of play. So we'll have a face-off coming up with 8:03 to go in the third.
A reminder, you can donate blood at the Children's Hospitals Los Angeles' Bloodmobile stationed outside Staples Center prior to any LA Kings home game in January, and there's a lot of them. And you can be automatically entered to win 4 tickets to the Kings game January 28th against the Hawks. 310-535-4467.
Face-off in the Rangers zone, and the Rangers come out with it. Dan Boyle up ahead to center on the right side. Across the line into the Kings zone. Chase down the right side to the blue line. Boyle broke his stick on the shot, and he has to come back to center ice. He doesn't have a stick. Whoa! Kings bring it down the right side. A pass over on the left, broken up. Picked up now by Kopitar. Down into Gabrick. He got checked into the boards. Gabrick gets back up again. Still a battle for it down in the corner. And nobody's got possession yet. Now the Kings do. They get it back to the blue line to Muzzin. Muzzin sends it behind the net, out of the reach of Kopitar, but Gabrick has it. Back to the right point. Now over to Muzzin. He shoots, and a save by Talbot. And a little shoving in front, a little whack by the Kings. And a whack back by the Rangers, and now everybody getting upset. Green comes in, a little shoving for the Kings.
It's Kopitar and Moore that are involved, and you don't see Kopitar involved that much in these types of things, but Dominic Moore was very active on the last shift. You remember the broken stick by Dan Boyle? Well, he tried to get some help from one of his teammates. Rule of thumb is a forward would get his stick. Get a stop right here, guys. You'll see turning around one of these guys right here. Watch what's going to happen. He's going to throw the stick to Dan Boyle. Dan says, I don't want to touch it. Might be a situation, Bob, where you can get a... that's one of the... I know the rule's pretty good, but can you throw a stick to a teammate? And I'm just guessing here that Dan Boyle thought that maybe is not a legal play, so he said, I'm not going to catch it. Yeah. In doing so, he would prevent any type of penalty. It was an interesting try, and I think that's exactly what they're discussing at the bench. So initially I thought, it's just Dan Boyle, he has bad hands. But you can see on that replay, he did not want to catch it.
Yeah.
Here it comes. And Boyle sees it and says, no way. Can't do it. Not this time.
Rangers win the draw here and get it up ahead to the blue line and taken away by Toffoli, who sends it in, and Girardi back to get it. Now over to Zuccarello for the Rangers. He got checked there by Carter. Toffoli trying to get to it behind the net, but the Rangers have it. They've got a 4-2 lead with time running out on the Kings. Puck comes down the right side into the Kings zone. Along the boards, Kings trying to get it. They do. They get it to Pearson. And now up ahead and out to center ice. Kings don't control it. Rangers drive it right back in. Now back up to center is Martinez. Martinez snaps it into the Ranger zone. Comes around the right side, and a shot knocked down by Talbot. Rangers have it, and it is out to center ice and back into the Kings zone. Icing call here. Seeing Jari Kurri reminds me of something in the film Voice of the King, which, by the way, you can buy at the team store or concession or the souvenir stands here at Staples Center now. Wayne Gretzky told a story in the playoff game against Toronto in '93. In the waning seconds, catch up with a minute, shot is knocked down. Rangers chase it down into the Kings zone, a pass back, and a save by Quick on the shot. And a good chance for Kevin Hayes, and Quick made the save. So anyway, late in that win by the Kings, they send them into their first Stanley Cup final. Barry Melrose, the coach, told Wayne Gretzky, Wayne, get back out on the ice. And he said, for the first time in my career, I could not go. I was so tired. I thought I'd be a liability on the ice. I said, put Jari Kurri out. He said, I'm glad we did, because Jari was an excellent defensive player also. Kings won the game to go on to the Stanley Cup final. Puck is taken down in the corner by the Rangers now. Back up the middle, a shot from the slot, deflected wide. Rangers go for it again along the boards. It's tipped away by Gabrick. Up to Kopitar on the right side now, and the Kings into the zone, being checked over on the right side and knocked down there was Brown, and Brown gets up to check Kreider. Kreider gets knocked down from behind by Kopitar. The puck back into the Kings zone, taken by Doughty.
That was Dustin Brown and Mark Stahl, and they've had a battle all night long. Brown trying to get the inside position, and Stahl not letting him get there.
Puck taken at center ice by the Kings, but they have to go back in their own zone to control it. Now up to center. Picked up by Martinez. Back into the zone. Time running out of the Kings. 5:26 to go. Go Kings go. The chant from this crowd now as the puck comes to Doughty. Doughty across the line. He drives it deep in the Ranger zone. Along the boards on the left side. Kings try to hold it in. Can't do it. Taken by Boyle. Sends it around the left side to J.T. Miller. Miller's pass taken away by the Kings. Now behind the net. Kings with it. Ranger zone. Pass by King in front. And a save by Talbot. Rebound in front. King again. And it went wide. Whistle blew, I think.
Yeah, the whistle blew a while ago, and Stahl still jostling. So the Rangers getting 4 men back in the crease to protect the goal. The Kings trying to look for life, trying to get right back in this game. Still trail by 2.
The Kings have another comeback in store for these Kings fans here at Staples. It leads us to our Carl's Jr. Sports Update. Going back to that last game where the Kings became the first team to score 3 goals as late as they did since the 1991 Winnipeg Jets. And this goes all the way back to 87-88 teams that trailed by 3 to earn at least a point. Now we have Yari Curry here in the building. Jim, you played in those 80s. Maybe some flashbacks that game to all those goals being scored?
Oh, yeah, they all seem the same. Give it to Yari, he shoots, he scores. That was the case. I mean, just one of those things where, oh, man. He was, in those days, Bob, when European players came across, they were known exclusively as skilled guys. You know, the dipsy doodlers, those types of things. And Yari he knew the game. He knew how to help out. And with Gretzky, he had to do that. There was so many times where Yari Curry would be the man in the defensive zone, doing the defensive zone coverage responsibilities that normally goes to the center because Gretzky was so effective the other way. Yari Curry had to do that.
They were a joy to watch. Much more of a joy in a Kings uniform for both of them than in the Oiler uniforms. Puck is thrown down into the Kings zone, into the corner. Nash gets a stick on it, but it's taken away by Doughty. Here's Doughty for the Kings, up ahead to center ice. On the left side, here's Lewis. His shot wide. Rebound off the boards to Kopitar. Now to Williams. Now comes out to the left point. Chased down there by Schultz. His shot wide. Rebound. Williams behind the net. Williams to Kopitar. Shoots. Knocked away. Rebound over right side. Taken there by Brown. Brown. Backhander. Save. Scored. Bounced off into the net. And the Kings are back to within 1. Talbot made the save, but it hit his body and then bounced into the net. And the Kings trail now 4-3.
I think it may have gone off a King player. And Talbot was straight up. You don't see that too often where a goaltender is standing upright on a play. Kopitar will end up right in front. Williams takes a whack. It's Justin Williams who get his second goal of the game. He bats this one out of midair. And this is one of the few times, look at the Kings' inside position there. That's one of the few times the Kings were able to get position to the inside. This will be reviewed, but the contact of the stick with a puck was well under the crossbar. It ended up going off the goaltender, which still, let me say this, if the stick is above the height of the crossbar, player hits it, goes off the goaltender and in, it would not count. That deflection, but that's not going to be the case. This was well below. They point to center ice, and the Kings back within 1.
Well, 4:03 to go in the third.
Yeah, get those bodies to the front.
Now the puck at the Ranger line and sent to the King line, broken up there by McBain. Rangers have it though, and it's backhanded in and a save by Quick. He directed it into the corner, taken by Schultz. Over to Jamie McBain. King without a stick as it comes to the blue line. It's Pearson without the stick. Puck comes out to center. Williams gets the goal, his 11th of the year, second tonight, and the Kings are within 1. Rangers, though, come back into the Kings zone. Rangers pass left side, in front, shot, and a save by Quick on Martin St. Louis. But what puck movement by the Rangers and Quick had to make a spectacular save.
Now the Rangers always changing the point of attack. They're moving the puck around the fans stand because Jonathan Quick makes the breakdance save. Well, look at Quick. He's under control here. Even though he's kind of rolling over and moving over, he's under control. Jonathan Quick never loses sight of this puck. It's almost kind of a two-pad stack to make that save. And he certainly does it right there against St. Louis. St. Louis held on as long as possible to try to wait for Quick to roll out of the way. Not the case with a big save by the Kings goaltender. Bob, just back to that play where the puck, the stick was thrown. A player will be penalized if he throws, tosses, slides, or shoots a stick to a teammate on the ice. So Dan Boyle, by not accepting that, good decision by him. Otherwise, could have been a penalty.
Face-off here in the Kings zone. The goal by Williams, his 11th from Brown and Kopitar at 15:57. So with 4:03 remaining, the Kings pulled it within one. Now the Kings get it out to center ice and into the Rangers zone. Kings had a 2-0 lead. Rangers got 4 unanswered goals until Williams got his second of the game just moments ago. Now wrap around by Lewis in front and knocked away. Picked up there by Brassard. And the battle for the puck. King along the boards. Kings dig it out. They get it to Jarrett Stoll. Back to Dwight King. Back to the blue line. Kings Ranger zone. Moved along the blue line by Doughty. Doughty holds it in. Gets it down the corner. Brassard took it away. Now over on the right side is Lewis to pick it up. Lewis into King. King on the left side. Spins and hangs on. He gets checked into the boards. Puck taken by the Rangers, and it is cleared out the center and all the way back into the Kings zone. And no icing here.
Kevin Klein does the job right there. A couple times it was Klein who had to break up the Kings play, and at the end there, finally gets it out.
Martinez to Kopitar. Ranger zone. Kopitar across the line. Goes to the right. Kopitar still with it. Hanging on. Double team. Still has the puck. Gets it up to Muzzin. Muzzin to Brown. Up the middle to Williams. Williams still has it. Down the right side. Checked by Hagelin. Back up to the blue line. Kings get it over to Muzzin. Muzzin shoots. Tipped. And is picked up by the Rangers and cleared back out to center ice.
Well, the Rangers are on their heels now. They're defending. The Kings have a feel for it. Good movement side to side, D to D before Muzzin gets it through.
Rangers change on the fly. Talbot had made the stick save on Muzzin's shot. 1:43 to go in regulation. Kings still down by a goal. Puck taken by the Rangers and tipped into the Kings zone. Stepan going for it, taken away by Doughty. Doughty put it down the corner. Rangers intercept. Pass in front. A save there. Quick pass by St. Louis. Kings come back. Right side. Carter just lost the puck. It looked like he was getting ready to shoot. Kings pull the goaltender. Quick heads to the bench. He's on the bench with 1:19 to go in regulation. Rangers in their own zone. McDonough drives it around and all the way back into the Kings zone, and an icing call against the Rangers with 1:10 to go. And the Kings down by a goal.
And the Kings want the puck dropped as quick as possible. Neither team has a timeout right here, so you can't take that time to rest and do anything like that. Kings Live presented by your SoCal Mazda dealers coming up right after the game. 1:10 on the clock right now. End zone faceoff. Goaltender pulled. The Rangers have been on their heels. The Kings certainly their best job at forechecking in the entire game.
Carter on the draw, but the Rangers win the faceoff. It's driven around the boards and out to center ice, but the whistle blew.
And back to that face-off. The Rangers, again, not a good face-off team. Stepan beats Carter quickly on that one. They're going to go to the clock. I think the face-off is deemed to be a false drop on the play. Now, having said that, the Rangers are making changes, which means the referee's over at the Rangers bench right now explaining. I think the referee's saying you can't make the change here because it was a false face-off. So the puck, in essence, was never really dropped.
Yeah.
And since the previous play was an icing, you can't make changes. But certainly the time has elapsed now where the Rangers are getting enough time to get rest if they had tired players on the ice. 1:05 remaining, even 1:05 here in the third period.
They told Derek Brassard and Dominic Moore to come back off the ice over to the bench. Face off here. Who's got it? Rangers cleared out to center by Kreider and all the way down the Kings zone. Chased in there. Less than a minute to go in the game. Kings down by a goal. Here's Williams. He's got 2 tonight. He flips it down into the corner. Chased in by Toffoli into the corner. Toffoli trying to get a stick on it again. Pearson is there for the Kings. They battle for it. The Kings have it. Williams back to the blue line. Doughty shoots. Hit escape. Went wide. Comes back over to Kopitar. He got tripped on a penalty to Rick Nash. And the Kings are going to have a power play with 35.9 seconds left in regulation.
Unusual alignment in that Andre Kopitar was back at the point, but because of the way the puck was dumped in. But then finally, I don't think there's any question looking to stick on the ice. Kopitar has the puck, complete possession. And Nash is trying to go through Andre to get to the puck, doesn't do so. So now you get the 6-on-4 in essence, goaltender pulled. So 2 extra men. Rangers, Alain Vigneault looking to clog up lanes, block shots, those types of things. Kings will be looking any way to get it to the front because they know with the manpower advantage, they should outnumber the Rangers. John the Quick, there he is on the bench. And the important thing for the Kings here is just to get it through. Now the Rangers, Bob, I think they're going to collapse everyone back to the net to make sure the Kings don't outnumber them. When they do get possession, though, empty net, short-handed, you can take the free shot at the empty net because you don't have to worry about icing.
Kings 0 for 3 tonight on the power play with 3 shots, and those 3 shots came on their last man advantage. Only 35.9 seconds to go in regulation. Kopitar on the draw. And the Kings have it. Gabrick gets it back to the blue line, thrown down into the corner now. Ranger zone. Kopitar tried to get it. Comes up the middle. Here is Carter, right side to Doughty. Back to Carter. He's got some time. He shoots up high. Picked up by Doughty on the right side. To Carter. One-timer. And a save. Rebound left side to Gabrick. Gabrick feeds it down in deep to Williams. Williams back to Gabrick. 12 seconds ago. Gabrick, his shot tipped up in the air, taken by Kopitar. Kopitar put it behind the net, now in front and swept away. 4 seconds ago, Rangers don't clear it yet. Kings hold it in, shot by Kopitar. Save and the game is over and the Rangers win it 4-3.
New York Rangers said coming on this road trip, it's a test for their team. Measuring stick, Alain Vigneault said before the Anaheim game, what about us? We were Stanley Cup finalists last year. Well, they've proven 2 wins in a row here in California. Land Rover player of the game, Dan Boyle, goal and an assist. The Kings have an effort at the end. Third period, last 7-8 minutes, tried to get it going. They certainly had the Rangers back on their heels, but the New York Rangers hold on. They get it done. Lundqvist last night, Talbot tonight. Everyone involved. The New York Rangers were on top of their game. Again, the Kings, like we've seen so many times, the Kings never give up. And they have that type of mentality where they can stick with it. They did so, and it did start to come to the forefront in the third period. But the Rangers collapse and help the goaltender collapse back to their net. Help the goaltender. They block shots at the end. They win it 4-3.
Kings with 31 shots, Rangers 26. Rangers win it. Saturday, Winnipeg here. The Jets, game time 7 p.m. Kings live at 6:30. For Jim Fox, thanks for being with us tonight. Right now, Kings live coming up next.